What's up, everybody? It's me, Ja B of the Sunshine Enterprise and the Sunshine Grind. Welcome to episode 5 of Business and Budgets. Today, we are going to be talking about how to start and how to grow your personal credit. I know that there is a lot of talk out here about business credit, but I think it's important that we still value our personal credit score so that we can still do things that we need to do, such as purchase homes and purchase regular cars for ourselves when we aren't in position to do that with our business credits. So we are first going to cover the 6 components that are used to calculate your credit score. We're going to start with the 3 components that affect your score the most, and then we're going to cover the other 3 components that don't affect your score as much, but they all do still get calculated in. So the first thing we're going to talk about is payment history. Guys, paying your bills on time is key to having a great credit score. People want to know that if they loan you money that you're going to pay it back. So my biggest tip for your credit, your payment history being in good standing, is to pay your bills early. I started doing this when I was in college because I used to receive those refund checks back. So I used to pay my rent up for 5 or 6 months at a time. And I just continued to do that. Even when I got out of college, I would pay extra towards my electric bill or towards my car note so that I would pay less interest on the long term for my car note. And the electric bill would be something I don't have to worry about in the event that I ever didn't have the money in the future. None of these things will ever be late because I was always early. So pay your bill on time. Another thing as far as a tip goes for this is to split your big bills. So if you are a person who has a 9-to-5 job and you have rent and you have a big rent, so let's say anything over $1,000 we consider like a larger rent, it's better if you split that between your 2 checks if you're getting paid bi-weekly. I say that because whenever I see people like try to pay their whole mortgage, their whole rent out of one check, it causes a financial strain for the rest of the month. So for example, when I lived in my last house, when my mortgage was only $1,000, I would take $500 off of this check, $500 off the next one, boom, pay it. Eventually, you're going to become early on your rent or mortgage by using that technique of putting away half and then paying it when you get the second half. So that's another tip for making sure that you are paying your bills on time. Make sure you split those big bills. I'm also watching, I have a couple stock options open right now, so I'm kind of just watching them over here to ensure I'm not losing any money because stuff is crazy in the market. The second component that really affects your credit is your credit card usage. So if you don't have a credit card, I recommend that you get one. Make sure that you are responsible. That means utilizing less than 30% of your total credit line. That means paying your bill on time or early. And that means, not running the card up and having it all messed out, right? So make sure that you get a credit card and then make sure that you take really good care of that credit card. Make sure it's getting reported to all the bureaus when you are paying that bill on time so that it can definitely help your credit score. The third component that greatly affects your credit score is derogatory marks. So guys, that's bankruptcies, collections, liens, any of these things. Steer clear of them whenever possible. I know that nobody ever signs up for a bankruptcy, but ensure that you are doing everything that you can to not be in position to be having derogatory marks on your credit. So if you have a creditor that's after you or something is about to get sent to collections, I greatly suggest that you try to instead get on a payment plan so that it never becomes a collection. And if it is in collection, get on a payment plan so that that's being reported and that the actual amount that you owe is going down. All right. So also make sure that derogatory marks are accurate. So if there is something on your credit score that is inaccurate, make sure you reach out to them and get that removed or corrected. The next 3 components. So like I said at the beginning of this video, these 3 components don't affect your credit score as much, but they still are a part of the calculation. So it's important that you also pay attention to these things. So the 4th component is the length of your credit history. So unfortunately, there's nothing you can do to speed this up, but there is something you can do to make sure that you don't mess it up for yourself. The worst thing that you can do is close your very first account. So guys, when I didn't know any better, I had a credit card with Macy's and I blew it and it ended up in collections, and a couple years later I ended up paying it off. When I paid it off, it closed the account. So my credit history, which at that time was maybe 3 years old, ended up turning into a year and a half because that was when I had my next thing on my credit. So the length of my credit history actually shortened itself, which isn't a good thing. You want to have longer credit history so that people can see, oh, you've been paying bills on time for 7 years, or you've been paying off cars for 10 years straight, and we see that you purchased 1, 2, 3 cars and paid them off. So length of credit history is not nothing that you can speed up, but try your very best to not ever close like that first account, because that will affect your credit history. So if it's a card that you don't really use, don't close it. Just don't really use it, All right. So the fifth component is the total number of accounts that you have. So there are many different things that get posted to your credit score. If you are a homeowner, your mortgage does. If you are a renter, check out a website called CoreLogic. This website is what I use, and it gets my rent reported to my credit. So it actually works with like a lot of different management companies. So just check it out and see if it's something that you can use. It costs $6 a month, but I think it's worth it to make sure that my rent is getting reported, because I'll be paying it on time. That needs to be on my credit. All right. So another thing that is getting reported to your credit is your car note. So if you are young and you don't yet have the credit score to have gotten your car, you're owning your car is like in your parents' names, talk to them about you becoming a co-signer on that car, so that every time those payments are being made on time, that's helping your credit. Sometimes phones are posted to your credit, like if you have a phone contract, but a lot of times phones don't go to your credit until you owe them some money. So make sure that anything that does get posted to your credit, like any loans that you take out for school, or a personal loan from the bank, a loan for a car, make sure those are all being paid on time. But also make sure that you have a variety of those. So don't just have one account. Don't just have like just your mortgage and you paid everything else off in cash. Like, that's not good for your credit. You want to have at least 5 to 10 active accounts. So that's credit cards, all that good stuff, right? Okay, and then the last component number 6, is hard inquiries. So guys, be very specific and intentional about the people that you allow to pull your credit. So this is just a very big one, because I unfortunately didn't know this when I was young. So I'm gonna tell y'all, do not ever let the car dealership run your credit. Why? Because they're going to send it to 3, 5, 7 different banks. Like, you're going to get so many hard inquiries at one time, like boom, 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 right to your credit, like immediately. And hard inquiries take years to fall off. So you don't want to get them if you don't have to get them, right? So instead of allowing a dealership to ever shop for you when it comes to purchasing a car, go to your bank first and see if you can get pre-approved, or go to your credit card company, like if you're with Capital One or Chase or someone like that, you more than likely can communicate with them and probably get pre-approved for a line of credit for a car. That's going to work out in your favor, not only for the hard inquiries that you're not going to get, but because you're only going to get that one if they pull your credit, but you're also putting yourself in position to have a way better interest rate, because at the car dealership, they don't care. They just want you in that car and drop some money and gone. Like, they don't care if your interest rate is 30% or 2%, versus your bank. If you're a good customer at that, they're going to try to work with you to get you a better interest rate. Okay, so get pre-approved before you buy a car, guys. Also, if something that you need to pull your credit score for, whether it's a credit card, apartment, or whatever, if they have a score requirement and you know you don't have that score, don't pull your credit. It's no point. It's not like they're going to change their mind. Like 9 times out of 10, they're not. If there's ever a situation to say, hey, we need a 650, and like you looked at your Credit Karma, you done pulled your Experian and your Equifax and your TransUnion, and you see that your credit score is a 630 across the board, do not say, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and let them pull it. And maybe they're not. So just don't even waste your time getting that hard inquiry. It's not worth it. Okay, so those are going to be the 6 components that are utilized by the big 3 to calculate your credit score. Okay, so that's that. So now let me give you guys a couple of additional tips to grow your credit score, and then I'm going to give you guys, I think I have 4 tips. I have 4 tips for how to start your credit. All right, so here's my 5 additional tips. Pay your bills early. I know I already said that, but this is very important. Guys, when you don't pay your bills on time, your credit score is going to take such a major, tremendous hit. Trust me, I know. I've almost been bankrupt before after I owned a home. Like, I was 3 months late on my mortgage. It was a shit show. I got out of it. Yes, I did. But let me tell you, not paying those bills on time, my credit score was trash, okay? I'm still recovering from that. And that was 2018. In the past year, though, my credit score has went up 100 points because I've been doing a lot of positive things for my credit and I have no debt anymore. So yeah, tip number 2 is to make more money and pay off more debt. So if you are in a position where you aren't paying off a lot of your debt because you financially can't, it's time that you really consider starting a side hustle, getting a better job, renegotiating your salary, something of the sort, adding some streams of income via investments. Like, something needs to be done if you are having trouble paying off your debt, because as long as you have debt, you're going to continuously be paying a lot more monthly in bills. And you're going to continue to not have the financial freedom that we all desire. Okay. So pay off your debt. That's going to help you out with your credit as well, because those numbers are going to be going down and your income to debt ratio is going to look more favorable. And that puts you in position to get more loan offers or house offers or whatever it is that you want to buy. Right. Okay. Tip number 3 is do not use your personal credit for your business credit. So if you've been learning about business credit, you may see things that say like no PG required, how to do this with your business score, no PG. So PG is personal guarantee. You always want to build your business credit with no PG required. You do not want to be using your personal credit score to build your business credit. Those are 2 different things. You build them 2 different ways, and you do not have to put them together, and you shouldn't ever put them together. Okay. Tip number 4 is make sure that you negotiate. When you are paying off your debt, negotiate it. So I said I'm going to give you guys a longer video, but let me give you a quick overview of my debt and what ended up happening. So I had about $35,000 in debt, including, what did I have on there? Credit cards, personal loans, I think that was pretty much it. Like credit cards and personal loans. So I had all that debt, because student loan debt don't count, because who's paying that? So anyways, that's the debt I had, and I was in position to pay my debt off when I had sold my home. So I paid it off. I negotiated with every single person. I did not pay full price for any single debt that I owed. If it was $5,000, I was coming in the gate like I have $3,000 in cash. And I was able to negotiate that 34-ish thousand down to like 24, 25. So yeah, save myself like $10,000 negotiating. And it doesn't take much. All it takes is, hey, I've been on a payment plan. I've already been paying on this for some time. That puts you in a really better position, making sure that they know you have cash and you're ready to make a lump sum payment. Just talk to them. See what you can do, but come in the gate ready to pay less and see where you can end up. But negotiation is key for making sure that you're paying off your debts faster. So what I did originally when I started paying off my debt, 3-4 years ago, I used to do a lot of snowflake payments. So I started with my smallest credit card at a $300 credit limit. It was maxed out. I was paying the $25 minimum, and then I started paying the extra 10 here, extra 15 there. And by the time we got to the end, it was maxed out and in collections. Let me say that part. This particular card. No. It was a $500 credit limit, the one that went into collections. The $300 one, I just paid it off and left it open. So the $500 card was in collections. I was paying on it, just these little monthly payments. And because I had been paying all those snowflake payments, I think it was like $250-ish left, and I negotiated it down to like $175, and that's back when I was like 21. And I was like, okay, like I know what needs to be done. So when it came to me paying off these big credit cards and these big personal loans I had took out when I was being an entrepreneur before, I went ahead and negotiated it all and ended up paying a lot less than what I actually owed. And here I am, debt free. So make sure you negotiate your debt. Tip number 5 is snowflake payments matter. Like I just said, paying those extra $10, $15 payments, I think put me not only in the good graces of them, because they're like, oh, dang, you really trying to pay that off. But I also was paying the amount down. Every $10, like, it counts. If you do $10 10 times, that's $100 all day, right? All right, so those are my 5 additional tips for growing your credit. And then here are my 4 tips for starting your credit. So that is something I also get a lot of questions about, because I do have quite a few like really young moms follow me. They're 19, 20, just like I was when I had my first son. And they're like, okay, yeah, I want to do this and that, but I don't even know where to start with building my credit. So the first thing is get a credit card and be responsible. So you can get a credit card. I like to use creditcards.com because it's a website that doesn't hard pull your credit, and it shows you all the different cards you qualify for and what the benefits are of each of those cards. So I would say first get a credit card and be responsible. Don't just go getting 3, 5 credit cards. Get one credit card and do the right thing with it, keeping your credit score under 30, not your credit score, keeping your credit utilization under 30%. Paying it off earlier on time. I highly suggest that you make 2 payments a month. And then that usually ends up reporting to your credit score twice, because that's how I increased my credit score from a 580 to 650 in like 6 months back when I was like 21. So yeah. Tip number 2 to start your credit. If you can, more than likely you can do it if you're with a credit union, get a small loan from your bank. So get a loan of $300, $400, whatever it is that they offer you, and pay that loan back early. So if you get let's make numbers really easy, a $600 loan, it's a 10% interest rate. So what's that, $660? You got to pay it back in 6 months. So you'll be paying like $110 a month, right? And instead of paying just $110 a month for those 6 months, pay $220 a month for 3 months and pay it off really quickly. Just use the money. Just put it in savings and then use that money to pay it back. And that is something else that can definitely build your credit score. Especially if you do it with a big bank, if they allow it. Like if you're under your parents' account, and they've been watching their accounts and they're linked, then more than likely you can qualify for a small loan. The third one is if you have a car, even if it's not currently in your name, get your name put on it. Like if you are young and it's in your parents' name, it's in your uncle's name, it's in whoever's name. If a car note is being paid and you are a person who is paying on that car note, you need to make sure that you're listed, okay? And then the 4th thing to start your credit is become an authorized user on your parents' cards. So if your parents have credit cards and they do the right thing with them, that's key. If they do the right thing with them, make sure that you ask them like, hey, can I be an authorized user? If they don't trust you, be like, can you put me as an authorized user and keep the card? Just so you can build the credit. So yeah, become an authorized user on your parents' card if possible, or any other person around you that, like I said, you don't have to have the card. So say it's your aunt, but she's like, I don't know about you out here having my credit card all willy-nilly. Just be like, put me as an authorized user and you keep the card. And then boom, you're building credit while your auntie's building credit, and you don't have a credit card at all. So yeah. Those are some ways to start your credit. So that's all I had for you guys. I hope that this has been useful. I hope that this helps you guys get started with your credit journey, whether you are just starting your credit or if you are fixing it, guys. You can always start over. I have literally trashed my credit twice. When I bought my house, I had a 705 credit score, and I almost went bankrupt after that. And here I am about to rejoin the 700 club. It's fine. It's fine. You can always start back over when it comes to building your credit. So I hope these tips have been useful. If you guys need some one-on-one help, I would love to assist you. I have a debt and credit repair strategy call on my website that you guys can book, and I can help you one-on-one with your actual debt and income, and we can make a plan of action that works for you. So until next time, guys, I am out of here. This is episode 5, and I hope to see you guys in episode 6. Peace.